Okay, so welcome to Real Talks. This is the very first time that we get to speak to some of our favourite mates and DJs who are currently grounded. Most of our pals who are normally in sweaty clubs all over the world are currently sat at home trying to make use of this time. And first up, we've got the legend that is N-Type. Dude, how are you?
Hello there. How are you? You all right?
I'm good. Whereabouts in your home are you?
I'm in my little studio. I've got like a little box studio upstairs. I stuck loads of foam on the walls back in the day when I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I think I put too much on. It's more like a mic booth, but I've got used to it now, so I can make tunes in here all right.
And the thing is, I suppose it's really helpful that if you want to make beats, and especially the type of music that you make, that you're not really upsetting everybody in the house and probably the street.
Well, it does hold the sound in a little bit, but it's more just for reflection and stuff. It's not too bad, but I think the neighbours get a little blast of it every now and again, but I try and keep it to a level. Do you know what I mean? So they're really nice anyway, so I never get any complaints or anything. Do you know what I mean?
You just need to convert your neighbours into your fans, and then it's all good. Then they're like
that's
absolutely living
involved.
it. Then house prices go up all around your area. Like, I want to live next to
or
N-Type.
down with the bass.
Dude, how are you? How's it all going?
I'm
your
good,
end?
thanks. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I was ill for 2.5 weeks though, which was a bit of a madness. I was in bed for like I've had flu before, but nothing like this, mate. It was mental. It was about 2.5 weeks I was in bed. But I'm better now. That was about 2 weeks ago now. So I'm up and about. I haven't done radio for ages, so this is my first blast of radio for a bit. So it's nice to be on with you.
So what do you think it was? Did you have the virus, or was it something else?
It was. Yeah, like we got. I got diagnosed by 3 different doctors because we were speaking to them and everything, and they said it was COVID, but I never had a test. You know what I mean? Because they're not testing people unless you go into hospital or you're in like services and stuff like that. So they said. I mean, 3 doctors said it was, and I had all the symptoms. I had really bad cough. The cough's actually just gone over the last few days, but it was literally, I was on my back really bad, mate. So I'm just kind of glad it's all gone now.
Mate, I'm just glad that you're okay. Obviously, it's a crazy world out there at the moment. And it's so funny, like watching online, especially because we're all at home and seeing how many people within the scene have actually been poorly.
No, it's mad. Like loads of my friends got ill as well because the day before lockdown, we were supposed to be going on my mate's stag do, so we all met up to sort out money and everything, obviously because we knew it was going to be cancelled, and we obviously had a couple of beers and we were together for a little bit then, and then one of my mates got ill first, and then literally Serge got ill next day, I got ill the next day, and then another 2 of my mates who were there got ill as well. So everyone who was kind of there together got ill in the end, which was mad, and everyone had different kind of levels of it. Some people it was like a week, some people it was a few days, and then like with me it just hit me pretty hard. So I mean Serge got it pretty bad as well, so it was
Well, just look after yourself. And what we were going to talk about is a bit about self-isolation actually. So what's really interesting is that you've probably actually genuinely had to really look after yourself. Whereabouts are you? Who are you isolating with? And whereabouts in the world are you now?
I'm just at home and I live with my missus. So luckily she helped me out loads. If it wasn't for her, I'd probably be in a right pickle by now. But she helped me out loads. Like when I got ill, I started getting a fever and I went to bed really early on the Wednesday. And then when I woke up, I was just sweating loads. I was like cold, but sweating and stuff. I had this fever and I just literally stayed upstairs from then on. And Leia used to bring me drinks and a bit of food and just literally drop it off at the door at the time.
And so your partner didn't get it, right? Was she okay?
No, she didn't get it, but she was ill. She got ill around Christmas time with pneumonia as well. So we were quite worried about her not getting it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So she just stayed away, and literally we've stayed away because you're supposed to stay away for 2 weeks after your symptoms go. But I'm just glad like Wednesday is the end of the 2 weeks after, so I should be cool then.
I bet you just can't wait to have a hug, mate. Like that.
Oh yeah,
when you're ill, you just want to have a hug.
Everything. No, it's just
everything.
Weird.
I don't know what else that.
You know what I mean?
Everything.
It's just weird. No, just even a kiss. Even a kiss. It's mad. You know, it's like it's a weird situation, and it's weird when you go outside as well. When you go down to like Leia was going down to the supermarket and stuff like this week to get food because we ran out of food. And she was just like, everyone's in masks now. It's crazy. Like, so, and I see a lot of people like exercising on our street. And I never used to see that it seems like everyone's out exercising at the moment. So I can't wait to get out and have a walk.
Oh, mate. Yeah, honestly, that is the good thing though. I mean, I used to spend most of my days going into the gym. And so now it's like, right, you've got to get outside and,
Yeah,
make a
because
bit
you
more
can't
of
do
an
gym.
effort.
Yeah, yeah.
No, exactly. So what have you been doing? Obviously, you've been looking after yourself, getting better, I suppose, is the
Yeah.
main thing. Have you been making any beats or anything since you've been home?
Just this week, I started making beats again, and I think because obviously I was on my back for a bit, like I've literally this week I've made 4 tunes, and I never ever really make that many tunes like that quick. I mean, I make tunes, but it's normally spread out over a long period because I'm so busy with loads of stuff that I've got going on. But this week, because I can't really do anything else, I've literally just been making beats. So I made 4 beats this week. I did a remix for Peng Shui, which is good. I can't wait for that to come out.
Big
I
up,
think
yeah,
that's coming
man.
out in May now, yeah. So I wanted to play you some stuff, but I think because obviously there's like they want to market things right and all that kind of stuff. I probably can't play it to you just yet, but that's coming out in May. Then I did a remix with no, sorry, a collaboration with Mr. K. I did a remix for Fat Kid on Fire, and what was the other? I did a tune, one of my own like personal tunes, and then I finished my EP as well. I've got an EP that's coming out on Wheel and Deal next, and that's like a bunch of collaborations with different artists like Lost, The Others, Chrome Star, Sergeant Pokes, Sleeper. So that's going to be pretty good. It's a 4-track EP.
Isn't it funny that this time when we're not in the rave or at parties or running all over the place, there's going to be so much music made. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, once everyone can actually start coming out and going partying again, it's going to be crazy.
That first rave back end type.
I know. I'm gagging for
Oh!
it. I'm absolutely gagging for it.
It's going to definitely be at least a
Yeah,
week
yeah.
long night out.
I know, yeah, definitely. That's going to be a proper session.
So I want to know then, let's just lighten it a little bit. If you could isolate with anybody right now and you could pick a house with anybody to be in it, who would you isolate with?
um, Probably just my mates, definitely my mates, like, a whole gang of people. Sergi, Walshy, everyone, like just a whole bunch of us. And someone funny, like Will Ferrell or someone like that. Just to
Chuck
just
him in
to
the
make it
mix.
jokes. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's gotta be funny though. We probably all end up killing each other by the end of it, but like still, it'll be nice to see other people as well.
Like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man. Okay, cool. So you've obviously been in the scene for a really long time and you've
Yeah.
watched it evolve and change. How do you think that it's going to change currently with everything that's going on?
I think, the fact that everyone's in the studio at the minute building, there's going to be a really positive thing because the way scenes like grow and evolve is from good music. And if everyone's like sitting down and making some wicked tracks, it's only going to like blow even harder. Do you know what I mean? I think like, we've seen like a roller coaster of it getting massive and then it coming down a bit. And then I think like over the last few years, there's just been a steady, gradual, like, influx of good music. And I think like with this happening and positives out of a negative, I think it's just going to keep getting even better and better.
I love that. And also, it is a time to be creative. I mean, we are forced to stop. And so we have this time. And I don't think any of us have had this time in a very long time to be at home and being productive. And you know what? The other thing is, some people are finding it hard to be creative because they're used to being around their mates and going to a rave and bouncing off one another. For
Yeah.
anybody that's sat at home that might be feeling a bit creatively blocked or is struggling, what advice could you offer them?
Um, I just think like, I tell you what, Spotify is a really good place to start. Because for me, I like listening to loads of different styles of music and just, listening to stuff on Spotify helps because, they give you different influences and try this, check this out. And, that's a good place to start. But also like, I don't know, just try and enjoy it. That's the main thing. Like for me, I can't I can't sit down and just write a tune like and say that right, I'm going to write a tune now. I have to write a tune when I'm in the right frame of mind. So I think my best music comes out when I'm really enjoying it. Like if I'm forced to do something and then I don't know, but we're not. I mean, we're forced to stay in, but you're not forced to not make a tune. So it's one of them ones where just enjoy it. Like just try and like it takes your mind away from everything anyway. When you're in the studio and you're building, you're so focused on what you're doing that it's a bit of an escape anyway. Music's always been an escape.
You're so right. What software do you use to make music on?
I use Logic, but I mean, I've used when I'm working with other people, I've used different programs. I've used Ableton. I'm not that great at Ableton. I've used Fruity Loops, and I'm all right at that. But when I'm writing at home, I just use Logic.
Awesome, mate. Now, look, I just want to rewind a little bit for anybody that doesn't know your journey into music. Tell us a little bit about how it first started for you. Firstly, how you first got into music, and then how you got into the music industry. Secondly.
Well, just when I was a kid at school, it was just, you bounce off your mates and what they're listening to and stuff like that. And I started listening to jungle and like little bits of metal and stuff, and like everything that was really hardcore as well, like a lot of hardcore. But then when it went a bit happy hardcore, I was more into like the darker stuff. So I got into jungle, started buying records really early on, and then got my first set of decks when I was 14. Started mixing then. I was terrible. It was clang bang essential, like anyone who first starts. And then in the end, I did a DJ competition. I remember that in a local pub. And they had Technics, and I had belt drive decks, so I went to mix on these Technics, and oh my god, it was terrible. The set was awful, and I thought, mate, no, I can't do this no more. This is terrible. I've got to get these decks. I've got to get these Technics. They're totally different. So I got a pair of Technics, and then I really started taking it seriously then, and just non-stop buying vinyl. DJ'd for years, then started cutting dubs, and then just started doing pirate radio. I think I did pirate radio. Like my first show was a Big Apple record show. Big Apple asked me to do a show with Walshy on a station. It was a legal station in Merstham down in Surrey. And they said, can you represent the record shop there? And we were like, yeah, cool. All right. So we started doing that. And then he was like, oh, you know what? We used to sell CDs. Me and Walshy used to sell these CDs of like garage mixes and stuff in all the record shops around Croydon. And he was like, you know what? Delight FM are interested in you guys. And then that was at the time that was run by Soul Solid's guy Colton. And so we gave this tape in, and then they got us on there, and we just started doing a drive time nearly every day. So we had to go up to Battersea every day and do this drive time. And then in the end, I was like, I can't go up there every day. It's taking me like 2 hours to get back because of the traffic and stuff. It was mad. So I was just like, look, let's just break it down. So we were doing Wednesdays and Saturdays, I think, at the time. And then me and Walshy then started doing our own shows, like separate, because obviously we were just doing back to back all the time. So we just started doing our own show. And from then on, I was on there for about 5 years, and then I left, went to Rinse FM. Rinse really helped because people were focused on dubstep onto that station. So like kind of like started touring a lot because of Rinse, really, because, the show was getting out worldwide. And from then on, it's just been plain sailing, really. It's just still here, banging out the beats. And it's been good.
What do you think that you love the most? Is it radio or producing?
I'd say like I've done radio for so long that I think like for me, I enjoy right now. If I'm honest, I enjoy producing more because I've just done radio for so long. Like for me, it's just like a second nature thing. But at one point, these last few years, I've been doing a lot of radio. So I was doing Flex FM, Rinse FM, Subtle. Every now and again, we do a Win and Deal show. And what was the other one? And Pirate Copy with Pokes. So Pirate Copy is quite cool because it's more of like a talk orientated show. But I just think I did overkill radio a little bit over the last few years. I've just done so much that now it's just like I kind of want to do other stuff as well. And I really want to get an album out because I've been in this scene. I've been making beats since like 2002 and I still haven't had an album, so it's something that like I want to set as a goal and get it done. Like, so, times like this are good for that kind of thing because I can actually, sit down and just start building.
Well, if you've smashed out 4 tunes as easily as you have, then
that's it. I might have an album next week.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's all going to be that quick.
You get in flow. That's the thing. But isn't it funny with radio how sometimes you feel like you can run out of words? You're like, right, I'm running out of tunes. I'm running out of words. What else is there to talk about? Okay, I'll make
I know. Yeah, totally. But I mean, there's a balance. I think balance is so important. Like, if like I love radio, it's great, but like it's having a balance. Like I think I was doing so much radio that I wasn't having time for other things. And like obviously I run the label on my own and stuff. So there's a lot of work that goes into every little piece of the pie, if you like. So, I think this year I just want to focus on things that I'm really that know that I'm like good at and what I want to do, and just kind of keep radio. I'm still going to be doing it, but just, focus on my beats. That's my main thing right now.
Awesome. So when you first started producing and when you first started doing radio, who were some of the people that you were looking up to back then?
Well, back then, like I suppose when we were doing the garage stuff, it was people like Soul Solid. I love listening to them. Pay As You Go Cartel, Heartless, those kind of guys in the garage scene. I was really into EZ. Like EZ was, for me, still is like one of the best DJs I'd ever seen and heard. Just the way he mixes, like some of the track selection isn't my cup of tea, but the way he mixes it and just the vibe that he has is amazing. So yeah, EZ, Andy C. Like obviously I started more in jungle, so the guys I looked up to in jungle was like Andy C, Hype, Randall. They were main three, but yeah, it was just seeing those guys and seeing them play out and the vibe. Sorry, something's just popped up on my screen. I think it's okay. Yeah, just seeing them playing, and I was buying all the tape packs and stuff when I was a kid and listening to that, and those were definitely the guys. EZ's mixing, Andy C's mixing, like just so good.
And also people who still in the scene are going completely strong. EZ's 24-hour thing the other day was just so sick, man.
I know. Does he even go to the loo?
I know. I was just thinking
because the thing is, I've seen bits of it. I've watched bits of it, but I've never seen the whole 24 hours. Like, and I'm just thinking, wow, this guy's just up there. Does he go to the loo? What, like, does he jump off for 5 minutes? Like 24 hours without going to the loo is world record breaking.
you all know that when they're N-Type, when you're DJing and you're like, right, where's that 9-minute track I always draw for? And then you put it on, you're like, go, try to run through the crowd.
I had it. Yeah, I had it the other day. I did an all-night set at the garage in Islington. And I was just thinking, in the back of my mind, it was like, EZ does 24 hours without the loo, so you should be fine. And then I think it got to like near the last hour, and then I was like, Chrome Star, jump on the decks. Right, I've got to run. And you know what I mean? I had to do that. But
press play, this track.
Yeah, no. Well, I had Chrome Star with me, so I thought, this is even better. They're getting a bonus right now. Do you know what I mean? I think he played the same tunes I played for the last. But big up Chrome Star.
It's when people have to go on your USB and they're like, what am I looking for? And you see the panic and the finger flick gets quicker and quicker and quicker. And you're just that panic.
I'm lucky I didn't keep him waiting too long. So it's all good.
It's such a funny thing. I remember even when I was on Rinse doing the breakfast show, there wasn't a loo at one point in the actual building that I was in because the building had been shut off. And I used to have to run and go over the road. Gosh. And so it would be like you're doing a 3-hour show in the morning and you'd be thinking that moment where, right, I really need to go to the loo. And you're like, okay, I swear there's a weekend track. No, Frank Ocean Pyramids.
Yeah, I remember.
Raw for Frank Ocean Pyramids every time.
No, yeah, because I remember it was across the road, wasn't it, into that other building? Yeah.
And you had to go upstairs.
Yeah,
so it'd be like you'd have to, and honestly, you couldn't let anyone get in your way. If a security person stopped you and asked where you were going, it's like you are just walking and running. Do you know what I mean?
See, the thing is, I think if they saw you running in there, you'd be all right. If it was me running in there, I think I was going to rob the place or something. So,
especially at 7 a.m. or something ridiculous. 8 o'clock. What are you doing, mate? I need to go to the toilet now. Like now.
Thing is, they're not going to argue with you, so that's all right.
I don't know. I'm sure at that time in the morning I could look a little bit shifty.
Hood up.
Okay, yeah, exactly. No makeup, just dark eyes and, a hangover probably. Let's talk about a turning point for you then. So obviously you were lucky enough to make something that you loved, which was music, into a career. Was there a point where that all changed for you? There was a real turning point that you knew that you could do this and you could start to make money from it?
I think it was when Dubstep All Stars was just about to come out, and I started getting approached by several agencies, some big agencies, and I remember I was on Forward Agency at the time, and obviously the album, there was already talks that the album mix was going to come out, and obviously it must have got into the industry talk a bit because of obviously these agents started trying to pick me up, and I remember speaking to Amy at the time from Forward Agency. And I was like, look, these guys are hitting me up, but I don't want to leave you guys because you guys are putting my album out. So, like, I don't really know what to do. And then I remember there was a couple where they were like, I wouldn't do that. And then Obi from Echolocation hit me up. And he got Simon Scott to ring me, right? I thought it was a wind-up at first, but he was just like, Obi wants to speak to you. He's a really good agent. And then I spoke with Sarah and Amy at Forward, and they were just like, yeah, he's really good. like that would be a good move. So we went for the meeting, and he was wicked. He was just like, look, this is what you need to do. Um, like it'd be good if have I got a label? And at the time I had Terrain, which was a label I started in 2002, but just put out a few releases. And he was like, it'd be well worth doing your label. Like, and I was like, yeah, I am kind of doing it, but I wanted to start something different. And he was just really supportive and gave me loads of information, and just got me loads of gigs. It was crazy. Like after a few weeks of being on the agency, I was like, wow, this is getting crazy. It was like Thursday, Friday, 2 gigs, Saturday, 2 gigs. And it was just like, going abroad Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. And it got to the point where I actually had so many gigs that I had a full-time job. I was creative director of a company called Jake's. And it got to the point where I wasn't really at work, and it wasn't really fair on them. And and they said, like, are you going to be at work this week, kind of thing. And in the end, I just had to sort of go with it and, follow my dream, and just go with the music. And that I felt bad for them. Like, I didn't really want to leave them in a lurch, but they were cool. And I actually handed over a load of my work to another designer who I knew, and he did some amazing stuff for them. So it all went really well for them as well. And from that moment onwards, yeah, it was just solid touring, really, just always out on the road. And I've never been that busy though. Even now, like when I look back, I'm like, wow, that was just insane. But and there was some amazing gigs. Like I remember supporting Prodigy on their tour. I did Newcastle Arena and Glasgow. Dizzy Rascal was there as well. We did a Dizzy Rascal thing. And yeah, that was mental. Some just crazy, massive shows. Like I was supporting Pendulum as well on some of their stuff. And yeah, it was crazy because like dubstep then was still, to the masses, was still kind of new. So it was still kind of growing. So like I'd play at some of these big venues, and I'd try and mix like little bits of other stuff in as well. Like I might mix like a Prodigy track in there, like, or I might mix something. I mix it with dubstep. So I was kind of trying to sort of break it to more people. And it was really funny because you see sometimes you see some of the crowd going mental, and then there'd be other bits like, what the hell is this music like you're playing? But like the way I tried to put it together was so it kind of worked and worked to a broader audience. But I think it worked, and it was an amazing time. It was crazy. But this was before Skrillex and the kind of more jump uppy dubstep stuff that got huge, because his stuff got like massive, and huge in the States. But this is before that time, so I'd say this is about 2000. I don't know. When did I can't remember when the album come out. I think it was about 2006, 7 or something like that. But yeah, good times.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because at the time, you don't always realize how amazing it is. You're just kind of going with it and you're rolling with it. And then you sit here now and you reflect back and you're like, holy shit, actually, that was a real moment, not only for you, but for dubstep, right?
Yeah, big time. And it was just, the music was so crazy. And it was like, we had this like really close net, like team of mates, like, me, Hatch, Chef, Scream, Benga, like Walshy, everyone from the area, like Koki, Mala, we were all just mates. So it was like there was this kind of like, we were all pushing each other. Like we wanted to see each other go far, and we wanted to see the music grow and get to where it did. So it was fun, man. It was great. It was great times.
And it's so nice to see so many of you still doing it and still
Yeah.
doing your thing and still touring. And, with any type of musical genre, there's this bend and flex, and, things sometimes are busier than others. But it's still good to see that you have consistency and you've really kept authenticity with your sound, and
Yeah.
are really good at backing new artists and really pulling people through. And I think that's also so important.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many good new artists that have come around in the last few years, and everyone's just so professional. I think, like, and the way they're making the beats as well, like the mix downs are sick, like the beats are quality, and it's like, wow, like it's definitely evolving in a good way.
So let's talk a little bit about Wheel and Deal and why you decided to start it, and what have been some of the highlights, would you say, with the label?
Well, like I said earlier, like when I joined William, well, it was Echolocation at the time, and then it moved to William Morris. But when I joined them, that was when I was talking to them about, look, I want to do something new. I've done Terrain. I started Terrain with a mate originally, but he went off and he wanted to put out some house stuff, and I wasn't really into. I wanted to focus on dubstep and grime at the time. So I just kind of focused on that, and then I was like, okay, I want to start something new. So then I was talking to Caspar, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this a new label and just really focus on like really the tracks that are the ones that I'm like wheeling up in a dance, or the ones that are the ones that I'm listening to at home, you know. So really Percy tracks. So he was just like, why don't you call it Wheel and Deal? Because he was just like, because you know that was the saying what we used to say in the dance and everything. So it's an old school saying really, but it come from jungle. But yeah, so and I was like, Wheel and Deal, yeah, I like that. And then that was the start of it really. So I got the first release together with the others, Technophobe, and then yeah, that did well, and then it just moved on from there and just kept going and going. So yeah, it's a labor of love for me, man. I love the label, I love all the artists on there, and I think we've got a nice sound.
What would you say has been some of the challenges, especially with setting up your own label? Because especially when you're touring and you're trying to juggle other things, there must have obviously amazing highlights, but there must also be some challenges that you face.
I think it's because I do a lot of it myself. Like I've done pretty much all of it myself. I did actually have someone working with me for a few years, and we've had different things. Like I employed a press team in the earlier days, and they would literally just do press for me every month, and it was quite expensive in the end to do it. But I think it helped grow the label outside of just like the dubstep thing as well, because they were always continuously getting me in magazines and stuff like that. So that I think that worked. And then after a while, I didn't really need it, because I thought that the word of mouth and the repertoire we had out there was just, you know, feeding itself. So I didn't need to do that as much. And now I do a lot of the press myself, but really I do pretty much everything myself now. But I'm starting to get help now from other people. So I'm trying to sort of spread the work out, spread the workload, because it's a lot to do on my own. And
Mhm.
I think now, like with the fact that I want to do stuff like build an album and stuff, I can't spread myself too thin. So I'm starting to get the extra help in, and things are changing this year, and I think it's going to be better for the label and better for me.
Awesome. Well, good luck with it, mate. I'm excited to see what
Nice one.
happens.
Wicked. Well,
Um,
we always send you the beats anyway, so you get sorted out.
Yeah, absolutely. I love them. And also, I just love hearing how your stuff evolves and the other artists that you're bringing through. It's just awesome. And yeah, like I say, there's always that consistency with all the stuff that you send, which I just massively rate.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
look, N-Type, the last couple of weeks have been pretty tough for musicians. We've lost some really prominent and respected artists from not only our scene, but the wider music scene. Like for some of us, lockdown's easy, and for other people, it is actually really quite hard right now. I just wanted to know what some advice that you could give to anyone who might be finding these times really difficult.
I think you just try and got to look on. You've got to find positives out of anything in that's bad, like, you know. And I just think right now, I just think about you're at home. You're either on your own or you're with your family. Just focus on that, you know. Focus on yourself, looking after yourself, and focus on the family and friends that you've got around you. You know, I think that's the most important thing over any of this stuff, music, anything, family and friends. But yeah, out to Bay Triller as well, because I heard about that this morning, and that's very sad. He's such a nice geezer. He come up. I've been talking to him for a while. I only literally spoke to him a few days ago. He's getting a dub plate done from Flowdan, so he was really excited about that. But yeah, terrible. And Ebo as well. It's horrible, isn't it? Like, it just seems like there's bad news every day at the moment. But you just got to stay positive. You know, you got to think ahead and just look after yourself.
And also, I think knowing that this scene is amazing, and even if you feel like you're on your own, you're never alone. And if you even reach out to someone in a little Instagram DM or a text message, there's people there that are there for you, even though you don't realize it. Imagine when
Yeah,
you walk into a rave and you see all those faces you've never seen before. That
yeah,
isn't happening, but those people are still there. So
yeah,
if you're having a moment, and I know there's definitely been times over the last little while where I've had moments and I've just reached out to someone I haven't spoken to for ages, and
yeah,
that our scene is so embracing. There's so many amazing faces and characters that are always there to listen. And I think that's what is amazing about this time is that community has really come together, even though we're all struggling. And, you know, we used to raving and having a laugh with each other. That
yeah.
we've got to not forget about that, because that network will never go away, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think nowadays I've seen a lot of people. You've got a voice now. People actually listen. You know, it's like if there's something that's bothering you, or you know, like you're going through something, there's always someone there now who'll listen, and people accept it more. Like before, a lot of people would be like, no, they couldn't talk about stuff and they bottle it all up. And then I think nowadays you can speak and have a voice. And if something's upsetting you, it helps to talk, I think, So I think, yeah, there's definitely, things are changing with mental health out there. I think it's getting a lot better.
And obviously music is just such an amazing thing to be able to help that. So I want to know, while you've been in isolation, what tunes have you had on repeat that we've been listening to?
Wow,
Even if it's something really random, if you've gone back to your 80s classics.
Since I've been better, all I've done is listen to my own songs because I've just been making stuff. So really it's that. Like, I mean, I've been in the studio for like 12 hours a day and stuff, and then just go to bed, wake up, do a few jobs and back in. So I haven't really been listening. I mean, I've been listening to some of the stuff like Serge's new bits, Mr. K, who else? Truth has sent me some great stuff. A lot of dubstep. A lot of dubstep.
Yes, mate.
As soon as I got out of bed, I was like, right, dubstep time. So,
Dubstep, I've missed you. I'm back. Come on, let's do this.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so what new artists do we need to keep an eye out for? Who should we be listening to right now?
Well, they're not so new anymore. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the guys like Nova is good. Who else is there? Like, I mean, they're not so new anymore. I mean, Sim and everyone, they're newer in the scene, but they're smashing it. They've been around for years now, and they've got, Sim's had an album out, and I'm looking forward to hearing the Mr. K album. That's going to be great. His stuff's wicked. Sleeper, man. I mean, he's not new. These are people who are not new, but they're people that I just rate, and yeah, there's loads. I get sent so many beats all the time. It's just crazy. So. But yeah, Sim and Mr. K and those guys who came through over the last years, like I rate their sound highly.
Love that. Okay, so next couple of weeks, what have you got in store? Not only for you, but for the label.
Next few weeks, well, the Sergi piece just come out on Win a Deal, so that's knocking about at the minute. So you can go and cop that. That's out now. My new EP is coming, and that's a collaboration EP. So that's the one I mentioned earlier with Sleeper, Lost, and Chrome Star, Pokesy, the others. So that's coming out as well. So that's going to be in probably about a month's time. I've just got to wait. I've got to do the graphics for that. So once that's done, it's all ready to go.
Literally a one-man band, mate. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I did the graphics as well. But yeah, other than that, some radio. I'll be back on Rinse, and just waiting to get out. I just want to do some gigs. It's mad, isn't it? Like, how gutting was it when all those gigs went? Because I know you had loads of gigs as well. And it's just when that went, I was like, oh mate, this is crazy. And we just started the agency as well. Me, Finwa, and Matt from Unearthed. We just started an agency, Metaphor, and it was going really well. And like gigs were coming in, and everyone was really happy who's on there. And then obviously this hit, and it's been pretty crazy. So it couldn't have picked a worse time to start an agency, really. But
it will come back and it will bounce back. And
yeah,
you know what? Everybody's going to be chomping at the bit to get out. And I think
that's it.
The scene might change. It might be different. It might be things are done in a different way. But I also think that, give it time and space and things will evolve. And what's also super interesting is that a lot of artists were talking about burnout. They were stressed out, and it's almost like we've been given this reset time. And I just wonder as well whether this whole virtual gig thing will become more of a thing. Have you done any streams yet? Are you planning on doing?
No, not yet. But Truth kept asking me to do one, so I might do one with them. But I've actually just set up a Twitch account now. I've got a Win and Deal Twitch account. I've got an N-Type one, and one for the Big Sound Academy as well. Because we're still doing Big Sound Academy, but obviously with all this stuff going on, we're just waiting till it all blows over. But yeah, so I started all that stuff up. So I might start doing my own ones because I've got my decks and stuff set up in here, so I can do that. But yeah, I'll just waiting to get things started. Really, like I think I'm going to hit up Truth this week and sort something out there. But yeah,
mate, do it. Get on it. Honestly, it was one of those things that when everyone first started live streaming, I was a bit like, oh, just allow it for a couple of weeks, man. Like we're all just trying to get used to this. But then I did one for Foreign Beggars actually a couple of weeks ago to raise some money for the NHS and Movid. And it just went off, man. And that feeling you actually got, like the interaction was really good online. I felt really good after it, and it gave me that hit back that I'd missed. It's like, God, this is why I do this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. I will do a few more of these, because you've got to remember, everyone's sat at home. You've got a captive audience and people are crying out for it. Even if it's in your kitchen, you smack the speakers up and you're having a dance around with a beer in your hand. It's just
Oh, yeah, it's
where
quite
it's
cool.
at, you know?
I'll tell you what, the Zoom thing is pretty good. I like the Zoom thing because we've got it installed on the iPad downstairs, and we've been doing every Saturday. We've been doing a quiz with all my mates, and we all get on this like massive, like, there's loads of us in there. It's crazy, but yeah, my mates, they take it really seriously, man. These quizzes have been excellent. And like we did, the last one was like a 90s quiz, and I was just like, oh, this is pretty good. I know Plastician's been doing a quiz thing as well. I've seen,
He's smashing it, man.
he keeps
Brilliant.
inviting me to it. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, no, it's great. But yeah, this Zoom thing's great. Like things like this, I didn't really know about too much. So there's all this new technology out there. Might as well make the most of it.
Well, N-Type, I'm so glad that you're better, and I'm sorry to hear that you haven't been well. I'm just glad that we can see your face, and
Yeah.
you're bouncing back bigger than ever. And I'm excited to hear your music and press on with that album, mate, because I'm sure there's so many people that are watching this that would love to hear it.
Oh, nice one. Oh, big up, Carly. It's good to speak to you, man. Thanks to the
And
Sutter
you
gang
take
as well.
care.